What's the craziest case you've worked on?
Well, I'd say Donald Letcher blowing his brains out was pretty nuts. Let me dig back for this one. I'll give a crazy scenario that happened. Maybe it'll count. So in 2021, we caught an individual named Fred Hendricks Jr. in Eugene, Oregon, and he owned a mechanic shop, and he was a sex offender, but I'll tell you, he was very charming. Like outside of being a pedo, like if you didn't know he was a pedo, you'd be like, "Oh, that's Fred. What a great guy!" Like you could tell, and even the reviews on his car shop, very like, "Oh, he gave me a discount. He was great, very understanding," and you could see why he molested a lot of kids because using that charm, he probably got his way into all that stuff. Yeah. But we get him, and he's one of those people that his head was so far up his butt. I mean, he just loved to talk about what he did. So he was. I didn't really have to interrogate him per se. I just listened to what he told me, and he admitted to talking to this 8-year-old girl, sexually. He got 3 years in prison for our little case on him. But what happened was he talked about molesting his daughter, which is what he went to prison for in the first place, before he got out and messaged our decoy. But he admitted to molesting all these other kids, like just freely. It's not like I got it out of him or anything. He just told me. And what happened was when that video came out, his niece, who he admitted to molesting in the video in Arizona, she files a police report with Maricopa County. And what happened was she told her family back then that it happened, and nobody believed that Fred did that to her.
Oh, wow.
But on video now, he's admitting to doing it to her. So they ended up charging him with that. They extradited him from Oregon when his sentence was over, and he's now doing 25 years in Arizona because
nice.
of him. Yeah. So
good. Well, that's a good sentence.
That is. I agree with that.
Have you ever got anybody to get like life in prison?
Yes. We have a 131-year sentence, which I consider a life sentence.
Yep.
Mark Mallow in Converse, Texas. He was out on bond when we caught him for child pornography. He was a middle school teacher. He got caught by Nick McTip or whatever, and the cops just got him for that. But he gets out. We were coincidentally on a dating app, so we don't really pull too many quote unquote child, really bad ones from there.
Yeah.
But he hit up our 14-year-old decoy. He gave us his phone number. I saw who it was, and I looked him up, and I'm like, no way, this guy's like out on bond right now. And we approach him at his home. He admits to the messages with the 14-year-old, admits to having child porn again, and went to trial in Bexar County. Took it to trial like a fool. I mean, he got a 50-year plea deal offered to him, did not take it, and he ended up getting sentenced to 131 years from the first case and our case. And then we had another guy. Aaron Scott Kingston in Albany, Oregon. He was a sex offender too. We caught him again. He got life in prison. He's doing it in Snake River in all the way in East Oregon. He got life sentence for that, which is crazy for Oregon. And then we caught an individual named Jeffrey Rose in Las Vegas. He was probably one of the sickest people we've caught. And this is a crazy one. We caught him in 2023, and he was out on... He had an ankle monitor on. He was already sentenced to life in prison in the early 2000s for molesting a bunch of kids, but his attorney scored him a retrial. So he was out on like pretrial release or something like that with the ankle monitor. He hits up our 9-year-old decoy account. His first message to us is, "Do you like child porn?" to a 9-year-old girl. And I mean, shout out to my guy for decoying that one, because God, what a sicko. I mean, just a lunatic. And so we approach him at his home. We find out where he lives. He admits to us that he has 50,000 images of child porn stored. Wow. And, he's like, "I have it all saved for the FBI. I got folders in my room for the FBI and all that stuff." And obviously that wasn't true. But the way I got him to admit to all that is because, "Oh, okay, you're trying to do the right thing. I'll help you with that." And I'm like, "I hope you're saving all that stuff and documenting it, right?" He's like, "Oh, I'm saving all of it and documenting it all." And I'm like, "All right, you're saving child porn." But what was crazy about him is he started crying at the end because he knew his life was over. But he would never admit to touching those kids. He would admit to the child pornography, he would admit to jacking off to babies, but he would never admit to touching those kids. But, he did not end up going to retrial. He just took a plea deal for 25 to life after that.
Okay,
so,
that's
yeah.